Hello, welcome to the special winter holiday edition of The Agent is In. My name is Craig Comstock. I'm one of the CF engineers, otherwise known as Digger. We also have Cody and Nick. Announce yourselves and your setup, your situation.
I'm Nick. I'm a doer of things in Northern Tech, mostly CFEngine things. My situation is I'm in the kitchen because I've torn apart my office.
My name's Cody.
Happy holidays.
I'm the director of community here, so working with customers and prospects, and I'm at home.
Wow. Yeah, today we're going to look at our CFEngine security hardening advent calendar. So we did this thing this month, advent calendar, traditionally starting on the 1st and ending on the 25th.
4th.
Of daily, what, 24th? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's usually like the first, like the 24 days before Christmas, but I mean, we just went extra.
I mean, you know, a 5x5 grid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a bonus day.
That was probably the real reason.
Yeah. So we released a new security hardening technique or thing every day, and a lot of them were our new CF build system modules that you can just easily add, install, and use. So what we're going to do today is just basically walk through them and take a look at what we did. So with that, I will attempt to get rid of this picture. There we go. Okay. And now we can look at Mission Portal. Let's see. Okay. So I've installed a 3.18 one, which is our latest LTS release here. And you can see a dashboard. And so what I did to prepare this is this Optiplex is an old Dell Optiplex desktop. And I also have a Lenovo Z500 laptop, as well as a kind of more shiny new Purism Librem 15 open hardware laptop. So these are all.
Are these all clients?
Yeah, the Z500 laptop is a client. That's a CentOS 7, and then the Librem is at Debian 11. And the hub is Debian 10. So that's where I'm at with those things. And what I've done is I've made a CFBS directory. So I installed CFBS with something like pip3 install CFBS, or maybe use pip, depending on which distribution likes to make you aware or not of the version of Python that you're using. And so I'm going to make this big, actually. And I've already added all of the modules that came in through the advent calendar. We can go take a look at cfengine.com, look at the blog, and you'll see here we have week 4. Let's go backwards in time to week 1. So this is something that we did through a mailing list, and we also posted to Twitter and LinkedIn and things like that. So this is a summary of week one. So you see we have these various things, reports of all local users with sudo access. So basically what we did is we came up with things that actually we ourselves are going to implement as policy for our security policy. So our kind of like human security policy will be backed by a CFEngine security policy. So this is inventorying who has sudo access. And so here's the module. If you go to the module page, you can see it says, okay, you can add it with this. So the way that you start a CFBS thing, I'll just make a junk one here. CFBS init. And I'll say, okay, you should add master files because that's a base layer that we need. Lots of libraries and different things. And then we can add inventory sudoers, do CFS build. Does some things, You do have to have autoconf and automake installed currently for master files. We're working on actually removing that dependency just to make things a little easier. So that's running that. And now I could do CFBS install, which would install it into var CFEngine master files, the typical location for master files to live on a hub. I'm not going to do that right now because I have all this pretty stuff that I've already installed over here set up. So that'll give you an idea. And so for these modules, you can often see a README right here in the CFBS website. Unfortunately, I have things blocking my view. But yeah, so we can see who's the sudoers. And then this actually provides some inventory. So I can come over here in Mission Portal, and the user stuff is down near the bottom. You see the user-defined inventory items. So we come with a lot of standard stuff up here, and here's the user-defined stuff. So users with sudo, I can show this. This is shocking and amazing. I don't know what's going on there. That looks like a really bad
Why
problem.
can all of those users?
What happened? That's shocking. What's going on there? Is it here? No. Is it here? I don't know what's going on here.
SSH.
Oh, sorry, I did the wrong one. Yeah, right. Sorry, sudoers. I suspect, I don't know why that's like that. That's really bizarre. Anyway, so typically on machines, you'll have yourself maybe as a sudoer, and root can also get to sudo, obviously. So that's the first item in the calendar.
Well, we can look and see why those are coming up as sudo inventory.
Yeah, so let's see what's going on there. How would you like to look at that, Nick? I think, let's see.
You want to?
We can look at the
pull
policy.
Yeah, pull the policy.
Yeah, okay, so it's pretty easy to find a policy. We just look at the module, and then we have a way to report issue, which goes to the GitHub repo issues. We can also just go to the repository. And then here, I'm guessing it's probably in this policy directory, in this main. Okay, so we look at.
So if we look here, there's some variables up top. You want to bump up the font? I don't know if everybody can.
Yes, let's do that.
See that?
Yep. Okay. How's that?
All right, cool. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like it looks
there's a
for
few
user.
variables here that get set if they're not already set, like from augments. So the variable which holds the list of users that are going to be checked for sudo access.
Right, that's everybody in password.
Well, by default, yep. And then yeah, the list of actual users. So this one allows you to override and say, hey, use this separate variable over here. Or like, hey, just populate this variable with what you're looking for. And then there's that refresh frequency. So then it will calls this inventory sudoers method if there are non-zero users. The inventory, and this is, I'm pretty sure this depends on the local users part.
Yeah. So there looks like there's some cached files that are used. So maybe we should check those.
Yeah, so if we look down at inventory sudoers in stater,
so that should
there
be, what's that with the inventory prefix? So what's this going to be?
The inventory prefix is third, just blank, right? So it'll be in stater _ users.
Right. Okay.
With sudo.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a directory, and then in this directory, like there's a file that gets created for each user. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the presence of these files indicates that the policy thought that they had access to sudo.
Right. Okay.
And these files get created. We read down a little bit further. So the cache directory gets purged. Where are you? You're on candidates.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the top of the files. Yeah. Oops,
Okay.
So line 64.
Okay. Whoops. Line 64. Right. Files.
64. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it clears the cache if the refresh frequency has been met. So it'll purge it.
Right.
Make sure that directory exists, and then there we go. The cache file on line 77, cache / candidates. So we are going to touch and create this file if necessary. If this command matches this regular expression, right? And the command is simply sudo -l-U. So if we run that for one of those listed users,
right? So
like
look over here, and it's like news.
dub, yeah.
News. Not allowed.
And then user is not allowed.
Right. So that should.
All right. And what does it say? It should not have matched.
May run. Right. So let's just out of curiosity, let's just run the policy again. And it looks like it did touch those files. Let's do ls in there again. Interesting. I wonder if we do that, just remove that cache stir, and then run it again. What do we get? And I've got lots of stuff in here. Okay.
Yeah, Root and Craig. So like, I don't know, maybe when you were setting it up, you could give them, because the other thing we hadn't done there is like hit the refresh frequency to make sure that it cleared, like, because there's part of the policy which purges that cache.
Right. So like this, like, you know, we've got it set up so it goes to the issues page. So if I could go here, I could say
new issue.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I'm not logged into GitHub right now. I just re-imaged my MacBook, so it's all fresh and uninitiated, unlogged in to most things.
So
okay, cool. Well, that's the first one we did.
Oh, yeah.
The second one was make sure that we use hash passwords by default. So, you know, for example, a lot of these we give examples of what to do to check it. So like examples here. So this is a kind of a pattern that I think would be good for potential module authors to make sure that you know, not just describe what it does, but actually give a concrete example of, you know, what you want to do. So like here, we'll it's already fixed because it's been running, but I'll change it to 512 to MD5, right? Okay, so now I can run policy, and unfortunately we have a lot of noise, but if we scroll back a little bit, if I can scroll back, there we go. Okay, we can see that it did, in fact, let's see, where was it? I thought I saw it just in the past. Let's redo that graph again. Okay, yeah, so it changed it. We can probably see that there's a CF before edit file, so we can grep that for encrypt, and we can see that, yeah, indeed, the file previous was MD5, and then it fixed it. So yeah, so that's that one. I think that's the encryption method, and that's that one. Okay.
It's like a different file too, right? Yeah, so login.def, and then also there's another file.
Oh, that it fills in.
Can't remember what it's called though.
Yeah, so disable root login for SSH. This is good practice. I'm going to skip some of these because they're not as interesting.
Boring. Yeah.
I mean, they're great, but they're just like one fix, and that's great once you get it fixed, and then CFEngine
Sure.
just keeps it
Yeah.
there, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, here
So
we
like
go.
if you
So
pull up
like,
that policy for Telnet, the only thing in there is really just like the different Telnet packages for whatever
yeah,
operating
exactly.
system, and then
Right.
make
So
sure
we
they're
can,
out there.
right. So we can go over and take a look, and the policy is literally just, if you've got these platforms, make sure this package is not installed, this one, and then it makes sure that it's absent. There's also a way that you can set a variable that says, hey, this server, this one host has an exception to that. So you can make an exception for things if you really need it someplace. And that way, like your whole infrastructure has the policy of no telnet, but then you can have like one that does have it. And I actually have kind of an example of some of that kind of stuff here. Let's see. Yeah, so like here I've already set up a few things here. So like this one is these are some things in the future. These other things like, but yeah, we use this host specific data to set classes and variables for a specific host so that we can say like allow telnet here or enforce this or enforce that. So like here I've got another module enforces allowed users, and I've said go ahead and fix that. You can also say like the default is warn, which is a typical pattern in policy, which is just kind of inventory or warn about something that's a problem. So you're not actually making any changes to start with. You want to see what's going to happen first. Okay, so let's go back to the stuff here. Reports of kernel boot parameters. So yeah, I can go and take a look. I've already pinned a bunch of things from the advent calendar here. So you can go and look at inventory attributes for a particular host. And if you find one that's interesting, you can click on this pin to pin it to the host info page, and that takes effect on all host info pages like this. So here we see that I've got kernel boot parameters. So now I can see what that is on each host. And I can look over here. There's some different ones there for different hosts. And that's a report. And this is the other one. So I've got some different things on different hosts. And okay, so this one's really interesting, actually. So security checks with Linus. So this is, Nick, do you want to kind of explain what Linus is?
Yeah. So Linus, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but
I was pronouncing it like Linux Torvalds would.
Linus, yeah. I don't know. I'm not a pronunciation expert, but yeah, so it's a security hardening tool for Unix-like systems. It won't run on, I mean, I suppose it might run in WSL on Windows, but was not designed targeted for that. Basically, so it's written by the original author of Rootkit Hunter. Sysify is the company. They've got a thing around that, so check out their enterprise products. But basically, it'll scan your system for a whole bunch of things that could be improved, and then provide you with a report of those results. And then each one of these little hardening aspects has an identifier, and you can get a little bit of information about their identifiers from their website. Their enterprise product provides like more deep information about what each of these different controls are and why it's important to set them up. But we've got some CFEngine policy here that just makes sure that the scanner is installed and producing reports at a regular interval, and then parsing that report that file to pull back kind of some high-level information, like the list of all of the IDs that were found during this scan. So Craig's pulling up here, Linus harden 7222, and then we can see, kind of what the details of this one are, and a little bit of information then about how we might approach fixing it. So.
Right, and I thought this was really very interesting because of how many issues it finds on on my computers. I thought this was really interesting, actually, this suggestions, right? Because it's such a human readable long list of things to do. Yeah, so pretty interesting. And then I guess there's like particular ones get some details. There's also a hardening index, which I'm not really sure, where that goes as far as like what the scale is, like if it's 63, like I haven't looked it up yet, but that's pretty cool. Like
it's
you could use that as
it's just a synthetic number of like how many of the checks do or don't pass. I don't recall the details, but yeah, it's just synthetic. And basically the more checks that you pass, like the higher your hardening index goes.
But I just think it's great that it's like a single number, because I mean, folks like to use that as like a metric or things like that. So you could set up like a compliance.
It works really well on the dashboard as a solid gauge.
Exactly, right. So authentication attempts. So this sets up a max attempts of 3, which is a good practice. And so then I'll go back and look at week 2. What do we have in week 2? Okay, so week 2 we had no non-root users with UID 0, right? And this is something that I believe, at least on one of these, I set up to have, let's see, users, non-root users with UID 0. Yeah, so on this Optiplex, the hub, I set up a funny user tour that's got the UID 0. So that's a security risk with the UID 0. Vendor supported OSs. So this is a pretty cool one, because we were able to import compliance reports. So if I go to reports and look at compliance, my server is slow, so that's why you see things. Okay, so here, this one, the author is CFE robot. That kind of indicates that we imported this with an import process. So we added the module to our CFPS, we built it, we installed it, and then agent run pulls the compliance report in. So we can go look over here. And currently, with my 3 hosts, it's 100% green. It's awesome. Everything's great.
All supported operating system.
Because I have.
Can you pull up that module, see how that's put together
absolutely.
For the compliance report?
Yep. Okay, so so we look at the repository. So it looks like we've got a JSON file. Yeah.
Is there let's look at the CFBS.json. Is there?
I think it's just in the index.
Oh, it's in the root, the CFEngine security hardening directory.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. I see. Right.
So in here, then we can look at the CFS. So this repository, then like there are multiple modules that are in here, and then each module is kind of like in a different folder. But if we find the compliance report, OS is vendor supported, right? So that one has a dependency on compliance report import. And then when it's built, it copies that OS is vendor supported.json into this .no-distrib directory. Presumably, and then the other policy that this depends on probably is going to pick that up and do something with it.
Right, and it doesn't get sent out to all the agents as part of the
the no-distrib directory. Right. It was recently a change in master files and in Bootstrap policies to not copy the no-distrib directory, so it doesn't get copied out to everybody. So in that OS is vendor supported.json, then that's that compliance report specification.
Right. And so this is the thing.
So in here,
if you go to like, if you go back here, maybe
import, there's import a report.
Right.
And then, I mean, there should be, and export. Maybe that's just on the, after you open the report, you can export the definition.
Yeah,
Export at the bottom.
Yeah. So yeah,
and then you can get like CSV, PDF, or the report definition.
Right. So you could do like report definition,
Yeah.
JSON, and then if you create a compliance report here, click all the GUI things to create the thing that you think is cool. Then you could export that JSON, put it in a module, and submit it to the index so that other people can use it.
And then you can maintain the JSON separately.
Right.
If you want to tweak the versions or something like that, or add in another check manually, you don't have to go click through the UI. You can just edit the JSON straight.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
I was excited about that one.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing that we have now. That's great. All right. So then let's go back to this stuff. So let's finish support OS. Uninstall Openldap servers. That's another one of those. Just don't have this package because it's kind of easy to install the server when you don't really want it to be there. Let's see. So reports of writable directories and root path. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Like I did this on one of them. I think I had like opt node somewhere. I think that was on my Optiplex actually. Opt node. Yeah. Okay. So if I look at path, I can see that I've got opt node bin in there, and then I just chmod 777 bin, and then it should go through and fix it.
Is that one actually remediated, or is that one
so
just inventory?
I guess you're right. That this one doesn't. So this is a report that just says inventory it, right? So that should be inventoried now on my Optiplex. Where is that one? I've got a new separate tab for each one. Now I should be able to click this collect reports button, and if we're lucky and the demo gods are friendly, should be able to see after it reloads.
Was it pinned on here?
Yeah, I pinned it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not there, but
it'll probably come up in a minute.
It could show up. Yeah, exactly. It could show up there in a minute. And then, if I remember right,
didn't we have another one that did the enforcement of it?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, we'll get there. So yeah, this one's configuring NTP to have max poll value. Nick and I had a lot of fun doing some regexes on this one. I actually found in Debian, I logged a ticket actually for you, Nick. On Debian, the default configuration for NTP doesn't have any servers. It only has, what is it? Well, we can take a look.
So then what, it errors?
Yeah, pool entries. So Debian only has pool entries, which you can also add max poll to a pool entry. If I find it over here.
Okay.
Yeah, see,
yeah,
max polls there. Yeah, so it's just another, because yeah, so that's something we can add to that policy, and then update the index, and then it's just updated.
You said you added an issue there?
I did, yeah. I was just looking at it there. Yeah, so we can look at that another time.
Cool.
So some more security hardening. Only allow SSH protocol 2. Sudo should require passwords. Of course it should. And then let's look at week 3. What have we got in week 3? Week 3, we've got disable pre-linking. Now this one actually took me a while to set up because it's not installed by default and whatnot. So I wasn't very familiar with this one, but yeah, if it's there, you definitely want to take care of this, not allowing pre-linking.
No pre-linking. You definitely didn't run Gentoo then.
Right. No Gentoo. I just last night I installed, or rather I live ran, not installed, both 9front, so Plan 9, as well as FreeBSD, and Collapse OS. Collapse OS is my new favorite operating system. It's a 4th operating system designed for using computers in a very hacked way after we start recovering from the global collapse. I mean, is it going to happen? I think peak oil was supposed to happen in the 70s, so that didn't happen yet. So whatever, it's fun. It's like a fantasy role-playing game. Disable empty passwords in SSH, permissions for directories and root path. So yeah, so this is the one you're talking about, Nick, where we show the reports, and this one actually lets you fix it. So we can take a look in here.
Right.
And yeah, it actually fixes it. So if we go back, I didn't remember if it was something.
Enable.
Yeah, see, it's already fixed it. And if I go up here, I can probably find the stuff about fixing it. I guess.
You just ran CFEngine, I think.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, there, yeah.
Opt-in node had 777, changed it back to something nice. Okay. So that one. Add no SUID option to temp. So this one, currently this one mostly does an inventory. So I believe that I've got this listed in here as well. Yeah, here we go. Warning. Temp should be a separate mount point so that it can be mounted with no SUIDs. Right, because so right now, I don't have a temp mount point. I didn't actually get around to setting it up to test.
I think, yeah, if you have a temp mount point, I think that the module remounts it with no SUID.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so this one, exactly. And this one actually has one of those, let's see. Yeah, it has one of those deals where you have a variable that you can set to say fix it, because the default is just to warn, which is a safer option. Okay, so remove old files in /temp. You and I worked on this one a little bit. I mean, I think I'm not going to test that one right now, but yeah, so just basically make sure that things in temp are not
reasonably fresh.
What is it? Touch date
dash,
and then is it T? Actually, I'm going to
test this. T.
Touch dash T, right? And then the one funny thing I was doing here was like 19, 11, 11, 11, 11, because I like the numbers 11. It's my birthday, 11, 11. Old Craig. So now we have an old file from a couple years ago, and I think I've got this one set to clean it up, because I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, this one also has a variable that you can set for. Yeah,
right. So this is a separate module.
This is a
warn temp file age, enforce temp file age, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think I've got enforce set up. So let's take a look after this finishes. It's almost done. There we go. Yeah, deleted the file.
Deleted.
Okay. Yep. That was clear. Oops, can't type. Yeah, so it's gone. All right. And then I think, yeah, so if we went over and looked at Optiplex, right, I added security hardening, enforce temp file age. So that's that one is a class. You can use variables or classes depending on, if it's a class is essentially kind of like a Boolean true. It's kind of like exists or not exists, kind of true, false. Whereas a variable could be like you want to fix, warn, do something else where you want more than just a on-off kind of switch. Using only strong ciphers. This is another SSH deconfiguration change. Reports the results of YUM's update info. So
that only works on like EL proper, I think.
Okay, yeah, and
Red Hat.
Okay, it only works on Red Hat proper. I tried it on my CentOS host, and I figured I think it works, but mine is up to date, so it doesn't really tell me anything. It's
actually the repository metadata isn't there
Okay.
to
Cool.
provide the yum update info breakdown.
Right. Rel. Okay. Got it. Yeah. It even says it right there. It's on rel. Okay. So that's week 3. We're almost to week 4 and we're making good time. Oh, did you see this? Log for J, log for shell.
Yeah.
That's
an
good.
extra one.
Yeah.
What's log for shell? I haven't heard of log for J. Not at all.
A lot of there's a lot of talk about that CVE. But yeah, so that's another one where it's not in the advent calendar, but it's we've got a module to help you with that. There it is.
I feel like maybe we should have had that say like in the everything is fine graphic.
Right. Yeah.
The dog
burning. Yes. Okay, so week 4. Let's see. So we've got enforce a specific list of allowed sudoers. Okay, that's nice. Who's logging into your hosts, right? I think I've got that already sitting here. Did I add that? I don't think I did.
Not pinned, but you could probably search for last or something.
Last.
Or
is it last?
Logged.
Last logged in, Craig. Yeah. So there's that. And then yeah, what was so this is users who have logged in. Okay. So we can look over here, users under you. It is alphabetized. Users who have logged in, Craig. Okay. Not a very heavily used system, really. Uninstall FTP package, that's kind of like the other deal. And then the last one, the crowning achievement, is supported versions of CFEngine. So we could probably go back to our reports. And actually, I saved a 2021 Advent inventory report, which I think has this on it. I added basically all the reasonable items. Yeah, so CFEngine version supported until. So on each of these hosts, I have a good supported version, and then I can take a good look at hardening index, critical security updates, kernel boot params, non-root users, oldest files in temp, security updates, users who've logged in, users with sudo, and well, the OS is just kind of the standard part of the inventory. So
can I get that report as a module, Craig?
The report, wait, do we support that yet?
No, not yet. We don't. Okay. I don't think we have a way to import like an inventory report partial or whatever, but we can do compliance reports currently. So we can build a compliance report for this stuff.
Well,
I don't know that all of it's compliance-y. So
I'll tell you what, Nick, I'll give you a hack. You see what I'm doing? I'm going to edit the report, and then I'm going to click on the secret. Wait, where'd it go? Why am I not editing the
URL string? The UUE encoded?
No, I was going to edit it, but anyway. Yeah, maybe I saved it as a different user, but I was just going to copy the SQL for you, because you can do that. Oh. I guess you can do that on the custom reports.
Well, no, I wanted the CFBS install the report.
Oh, I know what you wanted to do, but you can write queries here for those of us who are SQL savvy. Okay, well, I think that's a good session.
That's all of them.
That's all of them. Yeah. And we'll just carry on from here.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in, doing the review with us.
Yep.
We'll see you guys after the new year.
Yeah. Happy New Year, and enjoy yourselves. Be safe.